Manchester City 1, Newcastle 0. Man City with a fairly comfortable win against Newcastle's men. I think this was a good game for Newcastle to get Man City out of the way, especially at the Etihad. It probably would have been a completely different game if it was at St James's Park. But I think Newcastle did well to keep it 1-0. Man City probably should have had a few more goals with their chances. Haaland probably should have had a goal or two maybe. Just his finishing that game wasn't on point as it was in other games. Newcastle had a few chances. I think Bruno Guimaraes had a good chance, which he just scuffed at the end really. It was a good play from Newcastle to make that one. But yeah, no signs really of a Newcastle flop during the season. Still the usual Man City. It wasn't really a game for the TV. A 1-0, you know, it's not what people would expect. I predicted 3-2, which I wanted the game to be because it would have been a good game. But yeah, 1-0, solid result for Man City. Not the one Newcastle would have wanted. They maybe would have taken a draw here at the Etihad. But yeah, it's good for Newcastle to get it out of the way, especially in maybe in the top 4, top 6 race that they'll probably be in the next few weeks. I think it's good for them to sort of get Man City out of the way. Other teams will have to play them as well later on in the season. Alvarez's goal showing lots of quality as well. He's really settling himself into the team. No, not many football fans knew who he particularly was when he was signed for City, but he's really proved himself and he's now starting every game now for City. Phil Foden as well, probably taking advantage of De Bruyne's injury. They're not actually looking any different without De Bruyne. I think Foden can really get into the squad as a first team player as he is now. I don't think there's much competition for the place. But yeah, Foden really showing quality, and I think if he can keep it up during the season, he'll really help Man City get to where they need to be, which is probably another title. 6 points in 2 games, they've not conceded. Man City really on point now. But yeah, I think this was a game that isn't a massive test for them at the Etihad. Maybe at St James's Park it would have been different. Last season, a brilliant game we saw at St James's Park, the 3-3. I think lots of games that will be a test. Obviously, for every team, Anfield is always a test. They lost there last season. But yeah, I do still think Man City will win the league. I don't think there's anything showing signs that they will flop or bottle it halfway through the season. They're not known for that. But yeah, I think Newcastle as well. It's just sort of a usual just what you'd expect for Newcastle. Not many people predicted a Newcastle win, not many people predicted a draw either. But yeah, I think that's the result that everyone expected. 1-0 Man City in the end. Cheers for watching, everyone. You've been watching the Full Time Podcast. Goodbye.